It's time for Windows Weekly. Paul Thurrott's here. Mary Jo Foley's back from her secret adventure in Chicago. We'll find out what that's all about. We'll also take a look at the brand new Microsoft logo, more information about Windows 8, and what's the deal with the Nokia announcement early September. All that and more coming up on Windows Weekly.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Windows Weekly is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com. This is Windows Weekly with Paul Thurrott and Mary Jo Foley, episode 275, recorded August 23rd, 2012, The Secret Beer Recipe. Windows Weekly is brought to you by GoToMyPC. GoToMyPC from Citrix connects you directly to your Office, Mac, or PC from any other computer or your iPad and iPhone, too. Sign up for a 30-day free trial today at GoToMyPC.com. Use the promo code WINDOWS. And by Carbonite Online Backup. Automatic, continuous, unlimited backup for your computer files. Just $59 a year. Try it free at Carbonite.com and use the offer code WINDOWS to get 2 bonus months with purchase. And by Ford. Ford invites us tech geeks to join the conversation, submit ideas, and grab your Tech Geek badge at social.ford.com. It's time for Windows Weekly. We are ready. We are ready, my friends, to talk about the latest news from Redmond, Washington. On the left, Mr. Paul Thurrott, the editor-in-chief of the SuperSite for Windows, SuperSite.com, back from his jaunt in France.
Actually, you can see that pile of junk behind me is all the stuff that came out of my bag when I got home.
So he's just back, or he's slow to tidy.
Yeah, let's just say it's not going well, but yeah.
Also here, back from a jaunt, we don't know where, Mary Jo Foley. She writes about Microsoft at ZDNet, all about Microsoft.com. Welcome back, Mary Jo. We missed you last week.
Thanks.
It's kind of a sausage fest without you. And I'm not talking... Where were you? Chicago? I'm not talking Sheboygan bratwurst here.
Right. Oh, kielbasa.
Kielbasa. That is the sausage capital.
Yes, a perfect place for a vegetarian to go.
Beer and brats. Really, how can you be a beer lover if you're vegetarian? What do you eat?
It's tricky. A lot of hummus. A lot of pretzels.
Pretzels are okay. Yep. Pickles are okay.
Pretzels.
But that jar with the hard-boiled eggs that have been there for 100 years, you got to stay away from.
Do you go through a phase where you eat foods that are supposed to be like hamburgers but are made out of vegetables and things like that? Do you try all that stuff?
Yeah.
And then you give up,
It's always kind of lousy, isn't it?
Yeah. Then you give up and you say, no, what am I doing? I'm going to eat leafy green vegetables.
That's how I imagine it. I would try every possible not meat, pseudo-meat patty.
It's horrible, too.
It must just be tough. Yeah, I would think.
Tempeh. What the hell is tempeh?
Tempeh's good. I make my own mushroom burger. They're pretty good.
Oh, that's all right. Okay. I like mushrooms.
Like tofu with every spice on earth.
Right. Tofurkey.
Exactly.
Tofurkey. Not a good idea. I was at the farmer's market yesterday, and I bought a big bunch of kale.
Nice.
And the guy who's selling it said, "Oh, how are you going to cook that?" And I said, "Don't you know?" So I said,
we cook kale regularly.
Well, this is what I said because I had no idea. I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to braise that." I think You're
going to braise it, yeah. Right. I'm going to make a souffle out of it. No, you just cook it like spinach. You just like steam it, and it's greens.
You can eat it raw too.
You can also, and I have done this, make kale chips out of it. You bake it.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
that's actually quite good.
Yep, that is good.
Probably removes all the nutrients from it, but
no, you get salt.
Salt's a nutrient.
It's a vehicle for salt.
So you were in Chicago on a secret mission.
Right.
You're on a mission from God.
Also from Chicago, right? That was Detroit.
Yeah. No, that's Chicago.
Blues Brothers is Chicago. Okay.
What is the line? We're driving. We got a full tank of gas. We're driving a police cruiser. I'm wearing sunglasses. It's the middle of the night. We're on a mission from God. So you won't tell us, but it was business related?
Yes, business related in Chicago. Then off for a little fun in the Providence area where I rode a Segway.
Oh. Was it a Segway tour?
That was pretty cool. It was. Segway tour of Newport.
Oh, yeah. Of
2
the
hours on a Segway.
Do you get to go in the mansions in the Segway?
No, we cannot. We rode by the mansions on the Segway.
John D. Rockefeller be rolling in his grave. See a Segway in there. Those are amazing.
Segways are cool, though. Yeah, I was really scared to get on one, but it was really easy and really fun. We went up and down a lot of hills.
You lean forward, you lean back, you turn the knob to turn. It's not so hard.
Nope.
It's 108 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and I'm wearing sunglasses. Hit it. Thanks to Kevin in Dublin for that. Our top story. Where the heck was Mary Jo? Both Paul and I were puzzled because we just couldn't remember. We knew you weren't here.
Yes.
But
it was embarrassing for all of us.
But we're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Yes. And Donald Trump is apparently involved in some way.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like an older
Trump
version of our notes.
Right.
This page has changes that could not be merged during synchronization.
Yeah, like I've lost part of the thing I wrote is missing now.
Mary
I know,
Jo
I'm getting that as well.
Oh, look, this is SkyDrive.
I'm never using Microsoft technology again.
We're all using SkyDrive, and there's all these Mary Jo Foley changes that I have to merge them in. I'm going to merge them. Merging. Conflicted changes are highlighted in red. How dare you put a blank line?
Why is this happening?
Why? Why? How do I merge them? Can I right-click and merge it? How do you merge it?
Wow.
Click the merge button.
I'm afraid I don't want to change anything. I think we'll just have to wing it.
All right.
Yeah, I think
like we've ever done that before.
Yeah, let's just talk and see where it goes.
Okay. Wow. You know what? We're going to wing it, and that means I have no idea where we're going, and I kind of like it. Item 1, Office 2013.
Yeah.
Not due till 2013. Well, that makes sense. Do you think they release it in 2012?
Well, they're releasing a preview version in 2012 with the Windows RT product, right? But maybe Mary Jo has a better memory of this. I thought the release date stuff for this was all over the map. I mean, the last I recall was that it had been delayed until May 2013. And I just received word that actually it's going to be happening much more quickly than that. It will now ship in January, February timeframe. And actually, I think Mary Jo is saying that this corresponds to something she had previously discussed.
Yeah, so Edit, you're right. Your memory is correct. That there were some rumors. You do not have Alzheimer's. Your memory was correct. Yeah, there were rumors for a bit that something was happening in May 2013, that could be the Office 2013 launch. But then a couple of roadmap leaks happened earlier this summer that indicated they were probably going to RTM Office 2013 this year, like very late in the year, November or December, but hold off on the launch and the general availability till early next year, which makes sense because of the holidays and all, right? So I think you're just hearing, yes, they're still on track. And that's good.
This is business as usual. There's nothing
business
to see
as
here.
usual.
Move along.
Which is good because there have been rumors they were off track. So maybe they're on track.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, well, so this is not something I've heard, but this is the one thing I guess I'm wondering now if they've moved it up. Remember that the big deal with Office 2013 is that it's not just Office. It's like this, every single thing with an Office logo on it is part of this update. And it seems like some of the stuff is going to be ready a lot more quickly, like Exchange 2015 and SharePoint 2015. And some of the speculation earlier was around, which part of this is holding it all back. And I wonder if they've, in fact, just got that thing back on track, cut off some features, however they do that, or if maybe they are going to spread out the release a little bit this time, which is what they did not originally plan to do. But I don't know.
They didn't. When they announced the original preview back at the start of this year, they said everything's in sync, right? Like we're going to keep everything in sync. You're going to have your client apps, your server apps, and your services all at the exact same time. So previews together and final release together. Then I did hear some people speculating Link was further behind everything else because when they got the preview bits, they were like, oh, there's not that much new in Link. Maybe they're holding back on that. But maybe there's just not that much happening in Link compared to the other things.
Yeah, maybe Link becomes Skype Pro or something.
Oh, God.
Oh, I like it. Skype Pro.
We already have SkyDrive Pro. Do we need a Skype Pro?
Skype Pro.
No, we do need a Skype Pro. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, as long as they don't ruin Skype Amateur, I'm happy.
Right.
I'm happy.
Yes. So May, I've heard recently, what was that, May 2013 date?
Right.
Some people I have been talking to were speculating that could be the launch date for Office on iPad.
Ooh.
Okay.
Which
why would they announce something but that's like almost a year from now.
It is. But I think they want to give their own platforms a leg up, right? Like when Windows RT comes out, when you have Surface RT and it's running Office, you don't want to say, and here's Office for iPad. So we're going to help iPad compete with this thing we just are rolling out to compete with the iPad. I think they should give them a little leg up, perhaps.
Oh, definitely. Even I think they might even consider never doing Office on the other platforms, frankly. But
that's the announcement in May. No, we're not doing it.
We're not doing this.
After months of speculation and development, we have decided no, we're not.
We thought we'd keep you hanging for 8 months, but we're going to tell you now, not going to do it.
You might want to think about an RT tablet.
Well, is there anything else it could be, or does it have to be in the Office arena
for May?
Yeah. Could it be an update to Office 365? Mac Office. Wait a minute. We're way overdue for Mac Office.
Yep.
I like that. Mac Office is stagger step. It's not concomitant development. In fact, it's a different team, different code base. But
which really is kind of silly when you think about it. It seems like they should be in more of a lockstep.
Well, yeah. Mac Office, sometimes it's ahead. But it hasn't been a while,
just from not that they're making big changes to the document formats or anything like that, but it seems like they should want to align that stuff. I think there are bigger instances now of mixed case scenarios where businesses will have some guys on Macs and some guys on PCs, and it doesn't make sense for them to be using a 3-year-old version of Office that may or may not work with the documents the other guys are creating.
Well, I'm going to go with that rumor. I like that rumor. And if you were going to announce a Mac Office update.
Rumors made up while you wait. Give us a general product line you would like a rumor about.
It's all BS. Let's just make it up.
It's like a Mad Lib. Like, insert a Microsoft product, insert a date.
Office for Xbox. I like that, Bing Bong.
Yeah.
There you go.
Office for Xbox. Have you ever typed using a controller?
Actually, the Xbox is getting Internet Explorer, so it's conceivable that you could load our show notes in SkyDrive using OneNote through the web app in Internet Explorer.
This has been my goal, to be able to run the entire network via Xbox 360. It's everything. Maybe someday.
I don't recommend this.
No? I like our chat room. Kyler says, IE on Xbox is surprisingly stable. There's singing his praises. Wow, surprisingly stable. We're going to take a break at that point and say hello to our friends at Citrix. Mary Jo Foley, Paul Thurrott, Windows Weekly on the air, coast to coast, nation to nation, around the world, bringing you Windows goodness since 2005. Today, our friends at Citrix want to remind you that GoToMyPC is the best way if you're planning a vacation to stay in touch with the office before you go. It doesn't have to be a vacation. Maybe you just want to take tomorrow off. Spend some time at the pool with the kids before school starts. What you do is before you go, you sit down at your Office PC, Mac or Windows, by the way, it doesn't matter, and you visit GoToMyPC.com. The promo code Windows will get you 30 days free. And now you can hit the road and bring your iPad or your iPhone or your desktop or your laptop, whatever you've got. You log on to GoToMyPC with your unique username and password. You're securely connected to your Office computer. There it is, full screen, even on the iPhone, which is wild. Brian Brushwood showed me how he connects his home computer via his iPhone, and it works really well. You can send and receive email, run any program, access any network resource, anything you do at work. So if they call you and they say, hey, what are you, Smithers, why are you at the pool? You're supposed to give us that PowerPoint slide. You just say, yes, JT, it's on its way. And you never leave. GoToMyPC, simple to set up, easy to use, completely secure. We were just talking yesterday about how a very common form of VPN, especially in businesses. PTP has been cracked badly broken. SSL, baby. Secure. It's a great, safe way to surf, to better than a VPN. Tell the IT department. Why are we still using VPN? Go to mypc.com, click the Try It Free button. The promo code is Windows 30 days free, just for you, just for watching this fabulous show. Fabulous. Not only do we make up rumors, we make up words.
It's like a fablet.
It's like humidification. That was the word I heard this week.
Yeah, that's what happens when you exercise too hard. You get humidification. Yeah, this is a fabulous show. Windows Phone 8. Now, look, this is it. This is crunch time for Microsoft.
Yep.
Because you've got now, I would submit really mature products from Apple, Android. The Samsung products, very mature. They don't crash nearly as often as they used to.
They're surprisingly reliable.
They don't suck. And we've got not only do we have the Galaxy S3, but we've got the iPhone 5 coming, the Galaxy Note 2 coming. So it is a very competitive marketplace. But on the other hand, RIM has completely fumbled it. They just announced this week that BlackBerry 10 doesn't work with BlackBerry Enterprise Server. Huh? They have to rewrite. Well, actually, they didn't announce it, but the strong rumor, and they've not denied it. And they have to rewrite BlackBerry Enterprise Server. Otherwise, you won't be able to use it. And apparently, this is the whole problem with the playbook, too. So there's an opportunity here in business, especially for Windows Phone 8. Tell me.
It's rolling out great.
How's it going, Paulie?
I have no idea, actually. There's been surprisingly little news about this. I guess the fun. So we know that there's an event.
Do we know anything?
We know there's an event on September 5. And we know it's a Nokia event, and so we know that it is a Windows Phone 8 event. We know that this event is happening concurrently with Nokia World, which is in, I don't know, Finland, or I don't know where that's being held. Amsterdam, somewhere in Europe, I don't know. London, something like that. And so that's interesting. And I think that you could look at this and sort of guess that they probably are doing this to prevent any downtime between the bad news about Windows Phone not running on the old phones, Windows Phone 8, and the time when those new phones will in fact be available. That's the guess. But the thing that I don't get with the timeline is Windows Phone 8 is expected at end of October, early November on devices, right? RTM in September. This is completely in line with the previous two versions of the operating system. But there's no SDK out, at least not publicly. I mean, obviously some of Microsoft's partners have it, but even if they ship a beta version of the SDK in September, that's a little weird if the thing's going to RTM in September. And it doesn't really give developers time to create shipping applications for the launch. And so this thing will launch in end of October, early November. And you'll basically, aside from the stuff that's on the device, be running maybe a handful of new apps, but it will basically be all the old 7X compatible apps. It's kind of a weird thing because, this is the system that is not backwards compatible with everything you have, but it is backwards compatible with all the software. And so you're going to get this new phone, but there's not going to be any new software. So what's the enticement here exactly, other than, new devices, obviously? So it's kind of odd.
Very odd. And they're still saying SDK is this summer. So I guess, what's that, one more week? We have one more week of official summer.
Official summer, like real summer? Well, I mean, so summer technically probably ends September 21st or something. But yeah, I think everyone
thinks Labor Day, right? And
yeah.
So, but they just said recently, I saw a couple of people talking on Twitter, and they said, SDK still this summer. But to your point, Paul, it's a lot of developers are like, so when are we going to get an SDK? And I've seen Microsoft people on Twitter again saying to them, well, what do you need to test it for? We're testing this internally. Don't worry. Everything's going to be great. And
don't worry.
Boy, I know. I'm like, really? But they kind of want to build apps to take advantage of all the new stuff, right? Like these are people who want to build apps to take advantage of the multi-core, encryption, all these new things that aren't currently available on Windows Phone 7 devices, who are asking them, how about the SDK?
It's not about that SDK.
How about that SDK? Yeah. A little disconcerting.
Even if it's woefully inadequate and not complete, it seems like you'd want to get that out early just to give people a chance to kind of – it's a completely new set of APIs, right? It's Windows RT based, WinRT based, Windows runtime based. It's not Silverlight 3.0 or well, actually, I guess it was Silverlight 5 before, but it's not the next version of Silverlight. It's a completely new set of APIs. So it's not like this evolution.
People don't know at all what it's going to. They haven't seen anything at all.
Well, it's leaked, and we know that internally Microsoft refers to this thing as. Let's see if I can get this right. Like the Windows Phone runtime, right? Like WinPRT. And so there's kind of a cross-pollination of libraries and APIs, and some of it's the same and some of it isn't. But that's with Windows 8. Nobody knows Windows 8 programming either. Basically, it's brand new. All of the guys who have written Windows Phone apps in the past, they understand the language and. If they're going to use C# or whatever, it's similar, but it's a new set of APIs. Even if what you were going to do was take an app you already wrote and just convert it, there's some work there, right? I'm not saying it's not, surmountable, but it's a little bit of work. It's a lot more work when you don't have access to it. It seems like they should at least provide a beta version of this before.
Why? Is it not done, do you think? Is it not cooked?
I really don't know. Having seen the leaked version, it seems like it's fine. In fact, I don't understand why they didn't release that at that Windows Phone Summit they had back in June. It seems like that would have been the ideal time for that.
That was the plan, right? That was the original plan, was to...
Yeah, and when they didn't do it, I thought, well, okay, they'll do... Obviously, this will happen in July. July. What was July? Like 2,000 days ago or something? It just seems like so much time has gone by.
Yeah. So maybe they'll announce it on September 5th. Maybe that will be one of the things on September 5th. But what's a little worrisome to me, think, is a lot. I see people saying, so there are going to be new phones out from Microsoft and Nokia on September 5th. I don't think there can be. I don't think the operating system is RTM'd yet.
They won't be out. They'll be announced.
Right, they'll be announced or unveiled or shown, and hopefully a date will be provided.
And we don't know what the date would be, but it sounds like it would not be right away. It would be a month or two, yes?
Yes.
At least, yeah.
At least. So maybe if they're going to say, well, here's what the next – God, it seems like such a dumb thing to do, but here's what the Lumia 1000 will look like. It'll be running Windows 8. By the way, here's the SDK. The clock is ticking. You got 90 days.
Yeah, you might want to hurry up because you really only have like a month. I don't know what you're saying.
I don't understand it because what is the number one problem Windows Phone 8 is going to face is it's in an ecosystem where Android has 400,000 apps, Apple has 450,000 apps.
Yeah.
And I do believe the apps are important to people.
Yeah. Maybe they're trying to head off the iPhone launch or unveiling, which is shortly thereafter.
Yeah, but,
the 12th,
that is
so it's a week later.
Dumb, unless...
It is.
Leo would know the answer to this question. In the past, when Apple would introduce an iPhone in June at WWDC, they would announce it a month ahead of schedule, right? Isn't that how they do it?
No, well, it varies. So the first time, of course, it was many months ahead because of the FCC. The last announcement, it was 2 days ahead of time. So they said Friday, you can order it Friday.
That's where I was heading. All right, so there's no way that Apple's delta between announcement and availability will be longer than Microsoft and Nokia's.
No.
There's no way.
In fact, the rumor is, and I think the rumors are pretty good now, that the pre-order will be the day they announce it, and it will be shipping then something like a week later.
All right, so I can tell you exactly how this is going to go for most people then. On the 5th, Nokia will announce some phone or phones, and people will get kind of excited about it, and some people will say, well, I don't know, actually this is kind of nicer than the iPhone. Maybe I'll get that instead. And then 2 days later, whenever the Apple thing is, Apple will announce the iPhone 5 and say you can buy it Friday, and there'll be like a tizzy fit, and everyone will run around in circles.
Forget it.
Forget that Nokia even exists.
They won't even know it exists.
And so, yeah, this is like beautiful old school Microsoft marketing right here. This is just such a bad way to do this. It's just not the right way to do it.
It's really interesting because Samsung at IFA, August 29th, will announce the next Note, the Galaxy Note 2.
Yep.
A few days later, presumably Nokia will announce the next Windows 8 phone, the Lumia 1000 or whatever.
Right.
And then the day after, Amazon has a big event. They've just announced September 6th. They're going to have a new event, presumably to announce the Kindle Fire 2. And then the week after that, Apple with the iPhone, the next iPhone.
Right. So after the world has collectively spent $45 billion on all of those products you just mentioned, Nokia's will come out. And what's the sound of one party favor making a tweet? It's like, a little handful of confetti.
Surely they know, but that's probably what? I mean, they must know that. So this is a production issue.
It's like when you see the car coming and you can't stop it and you're kind of frozen in the glare of the headlights.
Is that it?
Yeah, I don't understand why they have to be this ineffectual.
The newest rumor today is courtesy of The Verge that it's going to be Nokia and AT&T showing two devices codenamed Phi and Arrow at this thing. So
there was a rumor that Verizon was also going to do it, right?
Yeah. No, but now supposedly
now it's not Verizon.
Right. Verizon and Motorola are having an event that same day. I saw somebody tweet.
Verizon, it turns out, loathes Windows Phone. They have given no love to Windows Phone, and they're not crazy about the iPhone eating up all the ecosystem, so they're throwing a lot of weight behind Droid.
Yep.
Right.
Droid. They are, though. Verizon is going to have a Windows Phone 8 device for sure. And Bloomberg reported
They're just not going to talk about it.
Right. It's going to be this year, and it's going to be called the
Trophy.
Trophy 2.
Yeah.
No, it is going to be a Nokia. They say those people who have knowledge of things but cannot speak on behalf of the company. You know those famous quotes say it'll be a Nokia device.
So Motorola is having an event the same day. That's true. I do know about that.
Yeah. Maybe.
Wow, that must be at IFA also, right?
These companies are all. It's like the two boats in the beginning of that the two buildings that are like boats in the beginning of that Monty Python movie. They're just hitting each other and throwing stuff at each other.
Boom, broadside after broadside. It's like naval warfare.
Yep.
And yet
we got them right where we want them, Leo.
And yet, only one ship seems to be sinking at this point.
Yeah. Well, RIM, yes, but
RIM is definitely.
Actually, you notice RIM's not making any announcements during any of this, so at least we're in the game.
RIM's smart. They're saying, no, we're going to wait till next year, and we'll do BlackBerry 10 then.
Yeah, everything will be sorted out by next year. Next year is a good time.
At this point, you don't want to be in that traffic jam that's this next month. This is going to be ugly.
Yep.
Somebody on Twitter says, "What if September 5 is the Nokia RT tablet?"
Oh, that could be. Too,
that actually, you thought that last week, Paul, didn't you? Yeah. I mean, you said that might be the case.
I've heard it. Windows Phone team, isn't it? Who's inviting us?
What if they have
there was a
Lumia
picture of a Windows Phone. Yeah. So, so Nokia is working on a tablet. You never know. Yeah. I mean, the speculation is, could they show it off there? I think they should. I mean, now Microsoft kind of came out months ago and said, "Look, we're making a tablet." And all these other guys that are making Windows tablet, RT tablets, no one's really said anything. Not really. We know Lenovo is making one. We know some of the other companies. We know Toshiba's not making one. They were previously making two. But, no one has really had a big event for a Windows RT tablet. I mean, maybe it's time. That'd be great.
I think so. That's right. It's supposed to be day and day with Windows 8.
And I just want to throw out this idea again that a Windows tablet that looks like a Nokia phone, like that unibody design. That would be nice.
A Lumia tablet?
Yeah, that would be.
Awesome.
I'd buy it.
That would be nice.
I'd put it right next to my playbook. It'll be great. I'll have a little display.
Right, Leo's tablet museum.
Tablet museum. I'd buy it.
Yep. Yeah. It'd be pretty interesting.
So it's just going to be crazy here. We're going to have breaking news up and down the network. We'll cover all of those events, by the way. And so
this is going to be great because I'm on the other side of the planet when this happens, and I don't know. It's like the dark side of the moon over there. This is everything upside down or something. I don't even know how this works, but I think I'm like 300 hours off from the regular. I think I lose a day when I fly there and don't get it back when I fly home or something. It's very strange.
Are you there September 5th? So you're going to miss the
I'm gone.
New York thing?
Yep. Oh. I'm missing everything.
We'll carry on.
So this is the is this the invite that got sent out? This is the story from The Verge.
No, that's
it's just a made
something I got. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Nokia sent to unveil Aero and Phi Windows Phone 8 handsets with AT&T's main carrier, according to The Verge. According to sources familiar with the two companies' plans. Maybe I
believe it. AT&T makes more sense to me than Verizon being the premier partner. I mean, they're the ones who do the hero device, right? Yeah. They're the ones who are spending most of the money on Windows Phone.
Yes, but I mean, it's a Nokia event, so there's no reason it couldn't be multiple carriers, right? I mean, there's no reason Verizon couldn't be part of this,
right?
Probably there is, though. You know how they are, those partners, those carrier partners. They want it all about them when it's these kind of
yeah.
I think it's pretty clear Verizon's putting its money where the droid is.
I need Ralph de la Vega to get on stage and pretend he loves Windows Phone for a few more minutes before he walks over to the competing event across the street to talk about how great Android is.
Well, the real truth is these carriers hate them all at this point because what's happened.
Oh, by the way, just to be clear, the feeling is mutual.
Yeah,
right.
No,
no one in this business likes anyone.
No one.
This is
right.
This is like the worst marriage of all time.
Yep.
You know, these guys together. It's just everyone hates everyone.
Yep.
Yep.
It's just a great thing for consumers.
It's the best.
It's the best. Awesome. Windows 8 and Windows RT. What is and what is not in which? You've got a little chart that you published here.
Yeah, so obviously in Windows Phones, in Windows 8 secrets, we create these tables, right? And we kind of space them out a little bit more nicely than we did on the web. But, you know, you have different feature sets. You know, what are the which apps are bundled in each one? You know, which one does internet connection sharing? You know, that kind of thing. Whatever, all the different features. The stuff we have in the book is kind of high level. The stuff we put here on the web is much closer to it's alphabetized, so it's not actually in this order, but it's the way that the actual code in each of those products, I'm not sure what the right word to use, publicizes, advertises, reports its own feature set. So Raphael has written a tool that will plumb into the OS
that's cool.
and pull this information out.
So
the thing that
he says, hey, can you do animated transitions? And they go, yes or no.
Well, it's actually more like just give me a list of all your features, and it blurts it out. Okay. It's a mess. And we go through it, and we plain English
put it in Excel
and all that.
And this is interesting. This is the Excel web app embedded on.
Yeah, that's actually the most interesting thing about the list. Actually, it really is.
It's cool.
He did an awesome job formatting it. But
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff that's not it.
The only device that has encryption is Windows RT.
Well, that has that kind of
device level encryption.
Yeah, so what that is actually is basically an unmanaged, always-on version of BitLocker. They can't call it BitLocker, but BitLocker and BitLocker to go are also available.
That's what most portable devices are doing now.
Yep.
But on the other hand, if you want an encrypting file system, of course, you're not going to get that on Windows RT, but you can get that.
Well, you don't need it because the whole thing's encrypted, right? So the point of encrypting file system is to encrypt individual files or folders, kind of a precursor to BitLocker. And BitLocker is a more advanced version of the encryption that's in Windows RT because it's centrally managed or can be centrally managed, and you can apply it to different disks in the system and so forth.
This is on Raphael's site within Windows.com if you want to take a look.
But what's interesting about this is it's actually very hard for us to decipher. And of course, you look at this list, and some people will say, "Okay, so this says I can't change the desktop wallpaper in Windows RT. Is that true?" Right? And I guess what we can say is, well, that's what it says. Now, the thing is, because Windows RT is different, we don't actually have a system running it. So we have the code, but we don't have the actual, running code on a PC. It's possible that you'll be able to go into Windows RT and change the desktop wallpaper. But what we can tell you right now, since it's not out yet, is that it actually reports that it cannot do that. And that's the way that Windows 7 Starter Edition reported. It's exactly the same way that reported, and you may remember in that system that Windows RT Starter would not allow you to change the desktop wallpaper.
Raphael, I cannot do that.
Yeah, so
there are a couple others like that too, like the codecs. Like if you look at Windows RT and codecs and look at the list of codecs, it says it doesn't support any of them, and people are like pinging me yesterday on Twitter, going, "How can it support no codecs? How can that even be?"
All right, so I will have to speculate here because once again we don't have it, but those codec packs are of course x86, x64 software packages that work on Windows. My guess, and it's only a guess, is that the OEMs responsible for Windows RT tablets, or maybe more specifically the chipset variant that he used. No, it's just, in other words, there's no doubt that these things will come with these codecs, right?
You got to play these back. You can't.
You're not right. You're not going to get a Windows RT tablet that can't play videos.
Right.
You're not going to get one that can't play music files. It's not going to happen. You don't have to worry about that. But the codecs that are built into Windows or are available as add-ons in Windows are not available in Windows RT. That's what that says. So don't. That's what I mean by.
That makes sense. Right. Because you wouldn't expect it. Because those are x86 plugins. You're not going to do that.
Yeah, that's all that is. I mean, for example, certain versions of Windows support what used to be called Windows Anytime Upgrade. That's still how that feature is advertised in Windows 8, even though they don't call it that in the UI. It's now called Add Features to Windows 8. So Windows RT does not support that, obviously, because the things you would use that for would be to upgrade to Windows 8 Pro, to upgrade to Windows Media Center, and those are things that are not available to RT because RT is based in ARM. So
now, this is thanks to somebody in our chat room, Web4802 in our chat room. This is from the Microsoft Engineering blog. Codecs supported on Windows RT, and so Microsoft itself is saying, we're going to support those.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I mean that's no surprise.
So it's there's some stuff that we get from this output that just doesn't make sense.
Right. That's because of the nature of the tool you're using.
Yeah. There's the one I told Mary Jo about earlier was the notion of joining a domain. There are actually two entries for that, and in one of them, it reports that Windows RT can, in fact, join a domain. And then in another one, it says that it cannot. And so, we went back and we looked at Windows 7, and the correct one is the second one of those two, obviously. But why does that other one exist, and what's the difference between the two? There's really no way to know.
Why, Daddy? Why?
Sideloading apps is another one I noticed. So if you're a business and you want to sideload apps, it says in the chart you guys have that the only place you can do that is Pro, right? But you must be able to do that.
Probably Enterprise, but...
Yeah, in Enterprise. But why can't you do it in Pro?
Of course you can. Of course you can.
Windows RT, even Windows RT, I would think you could.
So
maybe not Windows RT.
This is without judging that one way or the other. It's probably like the codec issue where if there is a mechanism for sideloading apps in RT, it's going to be completely different than the one that you would use in Enterprise.
Sideloading is installing an app that's not from the App Store.
Well, for starters, yes, and for starters, you need to be part of a domain. Right, so you need to be domain joined, and that's, I think, what that.
So it's saying, hey, you haven't joined a domain. Of course, you can't sideload. But I would not expect. I mean, you can't sideload on the iPad. I would not expect sideloading on RT.
Actually, you can on the iPad.
You can.
In fact, Microsoft has management tools that allow that. So if you use something like Windows Intune, you can sideload apps on Android and iOS, and the expectation is that you'll be able to do that in Windows Phone 8. And in Windows RT and of course in Windows 8.
IT departments can do it using special tools.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, not you as an individual, right?
Yeah, that has to be because otherwise you couldn't do the line of business apps that are unique to your business. Yep. Yeah. So not having that would be a huge problem.
Yes. Well, it's a problem right now for Windows Phone, for example.
Oh, is it? You can't sideload on Windows Phone?
Not on the current version, no.
And of course, the reason companies don't want to do that is the security implications.
Right.
But if you are positioning this as a device that you could use in business, which Microsoft is actually, I see some people say they're positioning Windows RT as consumer only. They are not. They are saying you could use this in business too. So if you can, then why can't you sideload?
Right, you have to, but maybe
in fact
not a consumer sideload, but a
Yeah, there's a hidden piece to the RT puzzle that we still don't know about, and that is that enterprises are going to get this management tool that is specific to Windows RT, that doesn't have a name, that won't quite be Group Policy plus Active Directory, but will be better than Exchange ActiveSync. And so you will have different choices for managing RT devices. You can use EAS if you want, but you're going to have this other thing, whatever it is. And they still have not ever elaborated on that. And, when I mentioned the thing about domain join in there, it's possible that some of the weird things we're seeing exposed in the output from RT is maybe related to this management layer that we don't know anything about.
I just realized what Mary Jo was doing in Chicago. She was secretly researching Barack Obama's secret beer recipe.
Darn.
We figured it out. You know, the White House will not release its beer recipe.
Right. Why can't he be more transparent?
You know, birth certificate's one thing, but beer recipe, really?
You got it. You now know why I was there.
That's it. I figured it out. She was I think we're going to see a white paper released later this evening. Experts were brought in.
Right.
To evaluate
deep dish pizza and worked late into the night.
Ooh, now you're talking my language.
Yeah.
Mary Jo Foley, Paul Thurrott, we're talking Windows. We got lots more. We're talking Windows Phone. We're talking RT. We'll be talking Xbox. Oh, don't you worry. And also, what about pricing? There's some more news about Windows upgrade pricing and so forth. But first, a word from Carbonite. Will there be... Windows has always had a backup tool built in. Is there a backup tool in Windows 8?
Yes. Actually, I'll get to that. My tip is semi-related to this issue, so we'll talk about that.
The reason I say this is not that it competes with Carbonite, because it really doesn't. Because you do want local backup, absolutely. You want to make sure you're backing up in a variety of ways. In fact, my friend Peter Krogh, who is an expert on digital asset management, in fact, he wrote the book. It's called The Damn Book, D-A-M book. Says you got to back it up 3, 2, 1. 3 copies of everything. That could be an original and 2 backups. 2 different kinds of media. So it could be a local hard drive and then a cloud storage, for instance. And one of them has to be offsite. And this is where Carbonite is such a great tool. Carbonite is automatic offsite backup. As soon as you install the Carbonite client on your Windows or your Mac, it starts backing up whenever you're online. It stores it in the cloud where it's safe, and you can get to it anytime, by the way. So it's an affordable cloud, very affordable cloud storage. Less than $5 a month for whatever's on your internal hard drive. And you can log into your Carbonite account on any computer or their smartphone app or their tablet apps, and there's your stuff. So it's cloud storage. And best of all, if it's time, for instance, let's say you're getting ready to move to Windows 8, don't worry about your data. Get that new computer, log onto your Carbonite account, say restore all the data that's been backed up from your old computer is now on your new computer. That easy. Carbonite is awesome. I want you to try it free. This would be a good time to do it if you're thinking of upgrading. Visit Carbonite.com. Use our offer code WINDOWS, and you can get it free for 2 weeks, unlimited use. Actually, there's a little limitation, I think, on the free trial. You can't do video files, something like that. But then if you decide to buy, $59 a year, starts at $59 a year per computer, but you can also get 14 months of the price of 12. But you have to use our specific show code, WINDOWS, okay? Carbonite.com. Use the offer code WINDOWS, and you will save big time. Back it up. Now's a good time before you get that new operating system. Paul Thurrott, Mary Jo Foley. What about upgrades now? A lot of people were starting to ask this on the radio show and so forth. What's the upgrade story?
Well, if you buy a new computer,
$15 upgrade, right?
$15, right? I actually just bought a new computer today, so I was interested to fill out the web form they have now where you can register. Although I'm a little curious about one thing. You know, it seems like they asked me what kind of computer I had. After I completed the form and submitted it, I received an email that said, you should have done this from the computer that you're going to be installing Windows on, which I thought was kind of interesting to mention later. But they don't do any check. You know, there's no...
Well, that's what people want to know. They want to know, how does it verify?
Yeah, it doesn't. Maybe that check comes later. I mean, I don't know, but I registered the computer. I guess we'll see what happens. I'm a little curious about that myself.
Because in past, sometimes you could just enter the serial number. So one guy said, oh, look, I'm going to get... I want to wipe the drive. I've got the serial number. I already wiped the drive. Can I just install Windows 8 on top of that, and then it'll ask for the serial number for verification? It doesn't.
Yeah, so, I mean, for people who are going to buy Windows 8, as we know, there's also a separate upgrade offer for those people. As long as you have XP or newer, $40, I believe it's through the end of February or the end of January. that this offer will be available. In that case, it's all, again, we don't have it, so there's no way to test this, but it's not clear how it or whether it does a verification test. This has always been one of the weird things about Windows upgrades in the past. We will see. I mean, you may recall, because we've talked about it recently, that back when Windows 7 came out, there was some confusion around whether you could do a clean install with the upgrade version of Windows 7. There were indications early on that was going to be true and not going to be a problem. And then I was in that hotel in New York, and I did all those upgrades, and it did not work. Triggering a lot of angst and some articles about how you can work around that. But I mean, based on what we've seen so far, I hate to do this again because last time it didn't work out, but it seems like this is just going to work,
without a lot of data entry or...
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously, I don't know what the figure is exactly, but you have to think 90+% of computers that go out the door anywhere come with some version of Windows, and that there'll be a genuine sticker on the box, and that's your product key, and maybe that's what you need. I mean, maybe they're going to do that. But how long has it been since there's been a Windows upgrade where you actually typed in the product key from your previous version of Windows?
Right.
They used to do that, I believe. It's been a long, long time.
I don't remember doing it. Yeah.
It does say on their blog post, you should have your 25-digit Windows 7 product key handy.
Oh, it does say that.
So you do want that.
Like you're saying, though, who has that? I mean,
well, you can run a program.
You can.
Their programs will. So this is a good thing to know. Before you wipe out Windows, make sure you got that key.
It says...
Well, the truth is, every computer I'm going to upgrade here
has a sticker.
Has a product key on it. Yeah, absolutely.
Has a sticker. But that's not in the case of all computers. Dell does that, HP does. A lot of companies do that, but not all of them.
Yeah, really? It says you will be asked to register with your you will be asked to register with your personal details about your PC purchase, your date of purchase, your retailer, your PC brand, the model, and the 25-digit Windows 7 product key.
You can lie about everything except the 25-digit Windows 7.
Actually, Leo, I apologize. I just bought a computer. Literally just bought a computer today.
I mean, it doesn't have that sticker?
It does not have that sticker. Of course it doesn't. Now that I'm saying that, no, it does not have that sticker. So...
now, Garby in the chat room agrees with you, Paul, says the OEM license says they must have the key attached to the chassis.
Yeah. Well, except like I said. And by the way, I bought this at a Microsoft store. So let me...
Which one did you get? Did you get the Vizio?
No. I got the Samsung Series
Paul
9.
Thurrott recommends the Windows Signature line.
I did. I got a signature PC.
Good. But you have to, kind of.
Well, I don't have. I have to because it's. Well, I don't just recommend it because I'm like a Microsoft flack.
They got a pretty big picture of you on there,
Yeah. It's actually. Did
they pay you for that?
For the picture?
Yeah. No. Paul Thurrott recommends signature PCs. I mean, that's good. I like it.
Yeah. So I don't have. It's funny. I don't actually have a Windows product. I might have a problem upgrading this PC.
What are you going to do? You don't have the key.
I don't know. That will be a great story for me to write. I'll have to find out. That's funny.
I wonder if
it's nowhere in this package.
Whose machine? I mean, I think people want to know. What did Paul Thurrott buy?
I bought a Samsung 15-inch Series 9 Ultrabook.
That's a direct copy of Apple's.
It is a direct. It's exactly why I bought it. Yeah.
So Samsung offers signature PCs. That's cool. I actually love the Samsung laptops. I think so. They're saying look under the power supply or under the battery.
Power supply. Excuse me. Yes, that's exactly where it is. I know
so he's going to go look now.
Oh, it's there. I already know it's there.
Yeah, he remembers. He's seen it before.
I've seen it there. So I don't know if I can.
And by the way, they've taken your picture off the Microsoft Signature PC store. Finally.
So there it is. Yeah.
Your picture is no longer there. It does have. So I guess as soon as I actually bought a signature PC, they were like, "Okay, we're done with this guy." This, by the way, this is very compelling. Microsoft shows you first run on a PC with signature and without signature. With signature, the first run setup time 4 minutes 47 seconds. If you have all the crapware on it, 18 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And what
I wrote a long article about this, which is where that picture thing came from.
It's crazy.
It is the difference between a signature PC and the same PC without signature, depending on the machine, can be stark. I mean, it's amazing.
Now that's just the first time you start it up, right? Or is that every time?
Yeah, no, right. So there's kind of a weird thing with performance, right? Because obviously there's first boot performance, but then there's just everyday usage. And you could make the argument, and it's probably a pretty good argument, that over time, obviously the delta is going to be a little different. It's not going to be as stark. But, I think one of the things that people like, you see all these unboxing things with Apple products and so forth. Buying a PC and opening it and getting out, it's kind of an arduous process. And it's one of those things where people, it's like, oh, I'm going to have to spend a day, deleting all this crap on a stupid computer. And I think the point behind Signature is to turn that into a happier experience.
Right. And so for those who don't know, it's minus the crapware. It's a pure Windows install. And are there other criteria? Yeah,
they do put some Windows software on. I'm sorry, some Microsoft software on there, like Windows Essentials, and
that's good. That's what you want. Like that's all the stuff that you end up downloading anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's nice. They have like a signature wallpaper pack that's on there that rotates, like a theme, and it's nicely done. I can't wait to blow it away though, because I'm going to put. So what I did was, this gets into. Actually, let me tell you what I did later, because that's part of.
This is going to be the tip. We'll save it.
Yeah, I'll say that.
My question is, should anybody be buying a PC right now? Shouldn't you just wait till Windows 8 comes out? Will anybody buy anything this month?
So according to Dell and HP, no one is buying computers right now. And it's unclear if Windows 8 is the reason why or not. But
of course it is.
People ask me this all the time, and it's one of those things you can't answer for somebody else, right?
Right.
If you need a computer right now and you're positive that, owning a tablet or some kind of multi-touch device isn't going to change your life, I mean, obviously you should just buy the computer if you need it.
Yeah. But I do think Windows 8, I hope Windows 8 machines have some Windows 8 specific hardware. This is a kind of a conversation you almost have to have around Windows 8. Like, I get that, but the truth is, even for stuff that I do, a very fast Windows 7 computer could boot in like 14, 15, 7 seconds. It's fine. Right.
That same computer, when you install Windows 8 on it, boots in 5 or 6 seconds.
Right.
There are advantages to having Windows 8, period, even on a kind of a legacy computer. I prefer the desktop in Windows 8 to that in Windows 7. I mean, using it on this big screen desktop computer, I prefer Windows 8 by a wide margin. Right. So, it doesn't mean you should disrupt everything you're doing and go get Windows 8 and blow away what you have. But, I don't think it's the non-starter that a lot of people think it might be on traditional computers.
Yeah, this is something they do every release, too. When they were moving from Vista to Windows 7, they had the same kind of an upgrade offer. So this is basically Microsoft's way to keep the bottom from totally falling out of the PC market, right? It's also a way for them to give people who are looking for back-to-school PCs something, at least.
Yeah,
since
throw them a bone.
Since their launch comes after back-to-school. There's a couple reasons they do this. And I think a lot of people are waiting for the next generation hardware, but not everybody is waiting. A lot of people are budget-conscious consumer shoppers who say, I don't care if I have a Surface. I don't care if I have a new PC and, with the Windows 8 on it. I'll get something that's cheaper and put it on myself.
And not to throw a screw into the whole works here, but there's something to be said for waiting for the second version of anything, that the first generation of this tablet, hybrid, whatever, hardware, I'm sure it's going to be fine, a lot of it, but this is also brand new kind of stuff. And, if you have a traditional laptop or desktop computer, whatever it is, Ultrabook, it's going to last for years and work fine and all that kind of stuff. You may discover that a year from this fall, instead of this fall, that the second-gen versions of these hybrid tablet-type computers are going to be vastly superior. Not because, chipsets have improved and all that, just because time has gone by and there's been more experience with them.
They get better at doing it.
They're just going to get better naturally.
So that's good. So Dell and HP, thank you. Nobody will buy another computer for another year.
Yeah.
And that's that.
A lot of controversy around this stuff, though. It's kind of funny. Like Acer, who has been very vocal about Windows 8 and RT and Microsoft doing the Surface. And, there was a claim from somewhere at Acer where they said they see no excitement around Windows 8 whatsoever, which is exactly what you want to hear from one of your close partners, Yeah. It's just kind of a weird, talking about dysfunctional corporate relationships, I don't know.
All this stuff about Windows 8 is so boring. It's so boring. Yeah. It's a boring operating system. I'm bored.
I've already received an email from someone who said, so do you have anything about Windows 9 yet?
Yep, me too.
And it was the CEO of Acer. It's amazing.
It's not even out yet.
They're
going to put the start button back in Windows 9.
Yeah.
Right? That's the big.
That's what some want.
The big innovation,
No start button for you. No start button for you. I'm just looking at your notes here. Should we move on to Xbox?
Yep.
The mini news. By the way,
Xbox
the hyphenation is important here.
I know. Did I screw that up the first time?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who changed it. It says Xbox Mini-News. And Mary Jo says, no, it's not Xbox Mini News. It's Xbox
right.
Mini News.
That's an important distinction.
That's what I read when I first read it really quick. I'm like, there is an Xbox Mini.
An Xbox Mini. Ooh, I'd like that. No, it's Mini News about the Xbox.
Yes.
And what would that be, Mr. Thurrott?
Yeah, it's not Blockbuster. Well, the Kinect price was cut from 150 to 110.
Good.
So.
Good.
And this isn't big news at all, but there's a new Xbox 360's Essential bundle coming out in October. This is basically just a controller, a remote control, a HDMI cable, and 3 months of Xbox Live just at a discounted price. And if you actually need all that stuff or want a good gift for somebody that you know who has an Xbox, it's actually a pretty good price for that stuff, but not a big deal. I think the thing about Kinect that I'm a little more confused about is that I believe it was in January of this year that the Windows version of Kinect shipped for developers only, but it includes a vastly improved sensor in it that is far more accurate, works better in low light conditions and all that kind of stuff. And I think the expectation, at least on my part, was that they would ship this sensor for the Xbox 360 this fall. But now that you see them reducing the price on the original Kinect now, I have to kind of think that this is it for the Xbox 360, right? That it almost doesn't make sense for them to throw that wrench in there because they would have these games that couldn't work or wouldn't work well on the first gen Kinect sensor if they supported the new ones explicitly. And that maybe what they're going to do now is just wait for the next version of the Xbox to deliver this better Kinect. And so we're in kind of a weird area with the Kinect because that Windows Kinect thing has never shipped in a consumer-oriented form, even now, almost a year later. And so there are no Kinect games for Windows. It's kind of it was almost put out as like an engineering exercise. I'm not really clear what the point of it was. Beyond the obvious, for developers to start looking at it. But no one, I'm not aware of any commercial applications for Kinect for Windows, at least nothing mainstream.
So maybe they ran it up the flagpole and nobody saluted.
Maybe. We also should note no Kinect price cut in EMEA or Japan. So Europe didn't get it and Japan didn't get it. For some
Europe, it's like Europe, the Middle East, and whatever the other, or in Africa, right? So
Yep.
It's weird. So it's North America, South America, New Zealand, and Australia, and Asia, but not Japan. Basically, am I reading that?
Yeah.
So it's a price cut for a lot of us, but not for a lot of us. Yeah.
Well, that's weird.
It's very strange.
Hey, did you have this story I just saw, thanks to our chat room, Tom Warren reporting in The Verge that Windows 8 Pro will be $199?
Yeah, so that has never been verified by anybody.
It's just they just say, according to one source familiar with the matter.
Yeah, so I can't.
We don't know. It's just a rumor.
Yeah.
That would be a good price.
It would be an okay price. I mean, the problem is you've got this $40 offer that's in place for a certain number of months.
And that's everybody, because everybody's upgrading.
I wish they would just leave it there.
Yeah.
I think that's what the price should be.
Yeah.
I think they should leave it alone. I think they need to come to this understanding that to compete in this new world, that's where it needs to be.
I agree.
Welcome
to the brave new world. Windows Server 20. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, you mentioned the Essentials bundles.
Yeah.
Windows.
No big.
No big. Mini news, as you say. Windows Server 2013.
Not an Xbox Mini, which, by the way, would be awesome.
Yeah. Did you just make that up, or was there a rumor about that? Because I like that.
No, Mary Jo made that up. But
that's good, Mary Jo.
If you picture an Xbox controller and you could mount a little LCD screen right on the top of that thing, that would be awesome.
No, it's because when I wrote about this, I put the Microsoft's SMB server, and someone said Super Mario Brothers.
Yep, that's always meant.
SMB stands for Super Mario Brothers. Wow.
God, I'm going to host a Super Mario Brothers LAN party.
The other SMB.
Wow.
SMB.
Windows Server 2012, the bits Arrives September 4th, just in time for the big Nokia announcement the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but the thing that's weird about this is that this product RTM'd along with Windows 8 back on August 1st, right? Or actually July 16th or whatever the actual date was. It doesn't matter. But Windows 8 became available much more quickly to MSDN and TechNet, to its the other partners. There's an eval version that you can download of Windows 7 Enterprise, as we discussed last week, and Windows Server 2012 is not available.
No eval.
No. And I got enough email, but it's I was traveling, so I was, of course, a little bit out of it, and still am, frankly. But I got a lot of email from people who have been saying, when is this thing going to hit TechNet? And I sort of just didn't pay attention to it. I assumed it had already hit TechNet and MSDN, and so finally I asked. And maybe they made this obvious when they announced this. Or I don't know, but they said no, it's not going to become available on those places until that launch in early September. And so that is the plan for that. The other half of that is that you may recall that with Windows Server 2012, they simplified the product lineup again, and they've got this thing called Essentials, which is a replacement for a bunch of different products. Windows Home Server, Windows Small Business Server, both versions of that, and Windows Storage Server. And it's funny because it's not exactly a direct replacement of any of them, although it's closest to the Small Business Server Essentials product. That one version of Windows Server is on a different development cycle. And so this week, that thing hit the release candidate phase, and Microsoft said that they would ship the final version of that to customers, typically through new hardware, by the end of the year. And so that one is different. But the other three versions, Standard, Data Center, and Foundation, that's all happening on September 4th, I guess.
Windows Server Essentials. What is that?
That's the thing. I'm sorry.
What? You know how many products have Essentials in the name right now from Microsoft?
Oh, yeah.
And how essential could they be if they don't actually come with the thing that you're buying?
No, like you just mentioned Xbox Essentials, right? And we've got Windows Essentials, which is the new Windows Live. We've got Windows
what that
Server
is.
Essentials.
Yep. So this is the new Plus Pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But does a server need a Plus Pack? Because I always think of that as like the candy, the sugar, the coating. It doesn't seem like if you're running a server, you care about the desktop wallpaper.
The server team, who are collectively ever pragmatic, I think are using the term essentials in its correct use. That it is the essentials of a Windows server. Although oddly enough, it is not the lowest end version of server, but it is aimed at small businesses, typically home office as well. It is for customers that in the past might have bought one of the small business server products that don't exist anymore. And they no longer bundle the other servers with it. Remember, the big deal behind Small Business Server was that it was a inexpensive and somewhat streamlined and less complex way of getting, Windows Server plus Exchange plus SharePoint plus maybe SQL Server on certain versions, plus the proxy product and all that kind of stuff, WSUS, for small businesses, like licensed for businesses that are only going to have a certain number of customers, a certain number of users rather. I have always thought that product was kind of hairy. I like the idea behind it. I like the simplified, unified management that they had for it, but it was kind of tacked together, and those are complex products. And I think as the world has evolved, small businesses today are doing those types of things in the cloud. No one is putting Exchange in their closet. They're going to use Gmail or Office 365 or one of those services. And so I think the Essentials product sort of recognizes that fact and is moving Microsoft server product line closer to the way that the world is going.
I do not think that word essentials means what you think it means.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I know. The Essentials branding is getting really, really over-applied.
These are optionals. You could say Microsoft optionals.
Optional, right, okay. Like Windows Server Basic or something.
Right.
That doesn't sound as good as Essentials.
No, Essentials sounds better.
It sounds like you just bought the Play School version. Do you have the kind where I can put like the circle peg in the round square thing?
Hey, I don't know. The Seattle Times is saying Microsoft, for the first time since 1987, is changing its logo, the new Microsoft logo. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is.
So,
if you're watching, if you're listening, that's what it sounds like.
Yes, it sounds like that's the Go font.
It says Microsoft. It's got a 4-pane square, Metro. That thing,
you're right. You got it.
Styled window with red, green, blue, and yellow. This is the Microsoft colors.
So
there you have it.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny to me about this? This story has gotten people crazed today.
I know, isn't it funny? People care.
I know. Yeah,
well, it is the first time they've changed it in 25 years.
Yeah,
no,
in fact, they've got a great poll
not
on the Seattle Times site. Which Microsoft logo is your favorite logo?
Right.
And boy, when you look at the old ones, they were crappy.
I like the Spirograph logo.
Yeah, that's the first one.
It's like the blurry one. If you stare at it for too long, you'd be dizzy.
Albuquerque.
It's like if you can't afford drugs, you could just stare at this thing.
It really tells you a lot about the styles of that era, because that was the 70s.
Yeah, just in case it's not clear they were around in the 70s.
Yeah.
Take a look at this logo. It's like the logo they used for the Logan's Run movie poster.
Exactly. Very stylized.
Yeah.
Then for a long time now, for 15 years, I'm sorry, since 87, 25 years.
That font is a stylized version of Franklin Gothic. It's like bold italic, but it's also stylized. Like you see how the S and the O are on top of each other, and the F and the T are connected.
Right.
Like the Star Wars logo. So on the new logo, interestingly, it is using their new font, but the F and the T are still connected.
Oh, they're still, what is that, ligature you call that?
They've stylized it again,
Yeah.
And the other thing, I wish to God, it would have been so beautiful if they could have let the building Windows 8 blog guys write the post for this, because they could have gone into great detail about the layout of this thing, but I guess the way they're saying it is the logo is both this graphic and the logo font or the logo type.
They go together. There's not one without.
Right. And if you're familiar with the Microsoft Store, which is where you can buy those signature PCs, you know that the logo for the Microsoft Store is very similar to this. And that clearly they had come up with this logo for the store, and someone at corporate was like, I think we're going to steal that. That's nice.
We should use this it is exactly the same.
Yeah, well, they have a little bit of a color gradient, but it's very similar.
How interesting.
But the posts of people analyzing this logo today have just been hilarious.
I mean,
people are like, what do you think the yellow means? Like,
I know. What is that?
Windows.
That's crazy. Like we know blue is Windows.
Green is Xbox, and red is Office. What is the yellow? I mean, really, like seriously.
Actually,
Azure.
Honestly, to be honest, yellow is Office and red is Windows Phone. So
is it?
I'll put that one to bed right there.
Answer. Everyone who was speculating, now you know.
And,
but the other sad part about this announcement is the way this post would have been written today, if they could have, was we metrofied our logo.
I know.
But they can't say that because
it is for Metro panels. Tiles.
It's Metro.
Yeah.
They're tiles.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
The new Office logo is red.
No. Well, yeah. I mean, it is sort of. Actually, that's not fair to say.
Yellow is essentials.
Right. Yellow is essentials. It's not. It's the new Office logo is actually just a shape. It's not actually a color. It can be different colors. But okay.
Chat rooms thinks yellow might be Exchange.
What about Bing?
Bing. Yeah. Oh, it's online. That makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. It doesn't make any sense.
It's fun to speculate, but who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? And they did, in a related story, announce this at the new Microsoft store.
I know. How bizarre was that?
Yeah.
So Chris Caposello was in town, who I don't understand why is not running the Office team now, but whatever. And he is, Mary Jo told me this, he is a senior vice president in charge of, not retail, but marketing.
Marketing. He runs marketing.
And I sort of remember that happening.
Yeah.
But he was in Office forever, right?
Yeah, he ran Office for a long time. And, he's from Boston. Chris Cap is from Boston, so that's probably why he was there.
Yeah, there was kind of a weak moment there. It was like, is anyone out there a Celtics fan? Yeah, we're in Boston.
No, we hate the Celtics.
You gotta imagine the jaded Boston crowd.
Yeah.
You think?
Or the Pats. You like the Pats, too? Are they good? Are they hot? Are they good here? We like them?
It was good to see him. I should.
What about the Bruins? You like them Bruins? How do you like them? You like baked beans too here? Is this a baked bean eating capital of the world? I ask you.
so many awesome stories about Boston people, but I won't bore you with that.
Hey, but you've got the Union Oyster House. That's a good place there.
It is a good place.
I like that place at Chowder.
I've had several Microsoft meetings at the Union Oyster House.
I used to. So that's still there. I used to go when I was a kid. We used to go there.
I love
been there
that.
150 years.
That's a great question. Let me explain to you what the Union Oyster House is. The longest running, continually operated restaurant in the history of the United States.
Is that still there? Is that still around?
Yes, it's still there. It survived the Revolutionary War.
But is it still there? I mean, because I love that place.
Yes. Daniel Webster used to eat 30 oysters and a flagon of whiskey at every sitting. It's still there.
So I'm glad they're doing business. Must be good then. They're still around there, huh? 41 Union Street, America's oldest restaurant. It's on the Freedom Trail, friends.
Yes.
A National Historic Landmark.
That I cannot speak to. It does have a good oyster bar.
Is it still there?
They're eking along. They're, like everyone else, the economy kind of.
I love it. We're going to take a break, come back with the tip of the week, the pick of the week, the pick of the week, the code name of the week, all the week stuff. The good stuff. It's the back of the book, kids. It's always, I don't know about you.
You got to go to the Microsoft Store thing. You skipped the Microsoft Store.
Oh, there's more about the Microsoft Store? I thought we...
You have to go look at my screenshot, my photo gallery of the Microsoft Store.
Oh, that's exciting.
They opened a Microsoft Store, and as I think I wrote this in the notes, because it happened here, it must be important.
I think Mary Jo deleted that part. So
yeah, I knew it.
I didn't.
Let me merge her edits in. So is this at
Microsoft Store?
Is it that SuperSite for Windows? You have the special slideshow?
No, it was in the Prudential Center, and the Prudential Center is kind of like a spider web, so you can enter it from different angles. But I walked in the door and with all the commuters, and there was a guy greeting people, which I didn't understand until I got up to him, and I was the only one that actually spoke to the guy. But he was asking me if I was going to the Microsoft Store opening, and I said yes. And I thought to myself, man, I'm the only one who said yes to this guy. This is going to be awful. But actually, it was packed. It was a
ton of people.
Yeah, it was a big thing. It was nice.
There's the new logo.
Yep.
Did anybody note that? I mean, did anybody say, "Oh
yeah, no"? They made an announcement about it. They said, they announced it at the Microsoft Store opening.
Wow, that's neat. There they are, the Microsoft employees in their trademark yellow, green, red, and blue T-shirts. They're the geniuses. No, the smart guys.
Yes.
Yes.
There's some corporate symmetry there.
Is there an Apple Store right across the way from that?
Yes, there is, and it's not in the mall; it's outside, but it's like the flagship store in New England. And the Apple Store there is amazing, multi-floor, beautiful, all glass, as you would imagine.
This looks nice. This is very.
The Microsoft Store looks like a CVS compared to the Apple Store, but. It's it's a nice little store.
Got happy employees.
Mm-hmm. You were very happy.
Colored T-shirts.
Lenny Kravitz wasn't there, was he?
No. So tonight, Paul Pierce is going to show up and play basketball on the Xbox, and then I think on Saturday they're sponsoring a Lenny Kravitz concert somewhere in Boston.
Wow,
I'm not really sure.
Windows Phone. Look at that. Look at that.
Look how excited. There she is.
She's taking the challenge. She's taking the Windows Phone challenge. Bring your phone, kid. There's a laptop.
This laptop that I bought.
That's the one you bought. That's nice. The signature PC.
Yep.
Did you buy it today?
Did you buy it at the store?
I was the first person to buy a computer there.
Oh, that's nice. And this is their point of sale. They're using it.
They're using iPhones to bring in people's purchases.
Is that an iPhone? No.
You should have done a Scoble, though, and come out like holding your bag aloft.
Yeah, remember that when he bought the first Windows?
I'm not that way.
Sorry.
Would be the way to say it.
So they have that's cute. There's a flashlight in the handle of the point of sale. That's nice.
Yep.
Little flashlight. And there he goes, off with his notebook.
They open it up for you.
Oh, they do the little who's next thing.
Sure.
I like that. That's a little enunciator. The AT&T stores do this now too.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, actually, I like the way AT&T does it, by the way. If you've not been in an AT&T store.
Yeah, they greet you. They say, what is your problem?
Yeah, what's your problem?
What's your problem?
Who are you?
Hey, what do you want? What's your name and what's your problem? Okay, somebody will be with you sometime. No, they're nice. And then, and of course, Apple has done that for years where you can't even go in an Apple store until you sign in.
That's back to the beginning. But
oh, okay. I know, but we could see it again. Is that the guy, Peter? What's his name? Chris Capicelli. Yeah. Anybody here a Knicks fan? Oh, that was
exactly. Cricket chirps.
How y'all feel about the Golden State Warriors? Good team, eh? Worthy opponents.
Does Golden State still have a basketball?
Yes. That's our team. Don't knock it.
That's neat.
That's my home team. The Golden State Warriors.
It could be worse. You could live in Albuquerque.
They don't have a team, or do they?
That's my point.
Yeah. Okay. At least we got a team. Maybe a crappy team.
Actually, I'm pretty sure the Lobos could kill the Golden State Warriors in a basketball game, but let's not go.
Probably. Hey, our Little League team is in the World Series, and they won yesterday, and they're playing today. In fact, I should probably turn on ESPN. I don't know when they're playing. What am I paying attention to this stuff for? I got a Little League team in the series there.
That's too bad.
We're going to take a break, come back, as I said minutes ago, with the tip, the enterprise tip, the code name, the pick, the thing, the whole thing there. But first, a word from Ford. They've got a new site. Actually, this is interesting. It's called Ford Social at social.ford.com. They realize, I think that Ford, among auto companies, there's, I guess probably every company has its adherents, but Ford has its fans. Ooh, this is the one I want. The Shelby GT500 Cobra with 850 horsepower. I think they only made like a dozen of them. Oh, sweet. Anyway, I'm sorry, I got distracted. This is the Ford Social site. You can get a badge, by the way. Look at that. I want to get the Shelby GT500 badge. There you go. I want this badge. Look at that Cobra. But you can also get, if you are a geek, they have I like this one, the Tech Geek badge you can grab. You can get more than one. Badges, I'm told, are the new bumper stickers. Did you know that? So you can
badges
are the new bumper stickers. You identify, and by the way, this is funny. I got the idea from this section of the site, social.ford.com. The ideas site section. Somebody said, I don't know where this was, personalization maybe, that you should have an LED bumper sticker on the car you could program from the front. Yeah, there it is, bumper sticker. So if you've got a great idea for what you'd like to see in your Ford, or if you'd like to vote on somebody else's great idea, go there, click the ideas. There's stories, too. Lots of really good stories about people in their cars, images, videos. And I actually have a little article on here. I just interviewed a guy named Jim Buchkowski, who is one of the chief technologists at Ford, about autonomous vehicles, lane changes and stuff like that, automatic lane detection. Very cool stuff. Social.ford.com. Join the Ford family. Show your allegiance. And share your stories and videos with others. Look, they're happy. They're happy Ford customers. Toby Keith, live in overdrive. Insiders get a makeover. I don't know what that means. He's a country star. Anyway, Ford, social.ford.com. Oh my gosh, Mary Jo has disappeared.
Uh-oh. Yeah, she says, call her back.
Could somebody call Mary Jo back? Hey, Alex. He's not paying any attention to me.
Alex is sleeping in the corner.
Mary Jo, she needs to be called back. Call Mary Jo back. But, we don't need Mary Jo for this portion of the show because it's time for Paul and his tips and picks.
You ever do this, by the way?
What?
You were showing the Ford website.
Yes.
And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, I want to see what's down below that on the page. And I tried to scroll down with my mouse, even though I'm looking at it through Skype. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say, dude, I touch it. I now go like this.
Yeah, same thing. But in other words, it's not on my computer. It's on your computer.
Right, but you're trying to touch
for some reason, I'm trying to navigate on the web like an idiot.
Yeah. Skype doesn't yet have that feature, but good someday.
You're going to be able to chart the path of my insanity on this show if you just follow it over the years. Like you could just watch me falling apart.
Slowly declining. You and me both, buddy boy.
It's decrepitness is coming.
This is what we're going to do. This is something to look forward to, you and me.
Why won't it scroll?
Slowly failing. It's been fun watching Dvorak go down.
Yeah. Well, of course, he's like, the guy's a car crash. I mean, that's not surprising at all.
We're kidding. Anyway, Paul Thurrott, before we go getting any deeper, your tip of the week, sir.
I'm going to write this one up as a tip, actually, very soon. And I'll do this for Windows 8, but this is applicable to Windows 7 as well. And that is that, when you buy a computer, or you just have a computer, whatever, Windows 7 has a built-in Windows backup facility. It does image-based backup, and it's something you can restore the PC from. The trick, though, is that you need to be able to get to that restore to make that happen. If you have a Windows setup disk, that's one way. But there's a way in both Windows 7 and in Windows 8 where you can create something that's called, in Windows 7, a system repair disk. In Windows 8, they actually call it a recovery drive, which is sort of annoying.
So what it is a disk that you could make that has just enough software on it to run the restore of the image?
Yeah, to boot the computer and find the image wherever it might be. Typically on a USB-based hard drive, but you could have it on a network as well.
Is it like DOS or is it a full Windows?
No, it's Windows. It's a Windows. It's Windows is componentized, and so it's kind of like, I almost call it MinWin, but it's the I just forgot the term for it. It's the whatever the miniature Windows boot environment. I'm losing my mind, as we know.
WinPE.
WinPE, thank you. And it differs a bit between Windows 7 and Windows 8, but the theme is the same. It boots your computer and finds this image. What's interesting is, and this is something that will be good for Windows 8 upgraders, is you can do what I'm going to do with this computer and with a few of my other Windows 7 computers, is you boot into Windows 7, you create a system image, which is your full backup. And so, one of the things you might do on a normal computer is get rid of all of the crapware, install Office, and a couple of other things, and then make a system image. And then if you want to restore the computer later, use that instead of the system restore functionality that may have come with the computer, because you'll have your pristine image you can restore from. And so in this case, what I've already done actually is I've created a system image of this Windows 7 system. And now I'm going to blow it away, and I'm going to install Windows 8. But later on, what I'm going to do is restore it back to this system image. And the way I'm going to do that is by creating this system repair disk in Windows 7. And in Windows 7, it has to be an optical drive. You put it away somewhere. When you need it, you can boot the computer with it, and then you can restore it back. But in Windows 8, what's interesting is they're letting you do this on USB now as well. And so you can create a system recovery drive on a USB fob, and you can use that to recover the system instead. And same theory.
That's nice. I like that. Because I have a 64-gig fob now. Why not?
I'm sorry. So actually, you could in fact use that same thing for the backup as well. But I was thinking more along the lines of boot. You could buy a $2 chiclet, at CVS.
How big does it have to be?
256 megabytes.
Oh, it's nothing. Oh, no,
that's
just
to boot the computer.
Yeah. Got it.
It's actually kind of surprising how small these system images can be, depending on the size of the drive and how much content you have and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, we're always thinking gigs for Windows and.
Yeah, and so I've actually done this in the past, and I'll do that again. I'll do it with this computer, and I'll do it with some others when Windows 8 general availability occurs. But you can, in fact, access the system image stuff from Windows 7 in Windows 8. It's a little bit buried, but it is in there. You can, in fact, go back to Windows 7 from Windows 8 using this facility. So you could actually run the recovery tools in Windows 8, say I want to go back to this thing, system reboots, reinstalls Windows, reboots again, and you're in Windows 7. It's actually kind of interesting. And so I've done this before. I think I did it in the release preview timeframe, but you can actually go back and forth between Windows 7 and Windows 8 repeatedly if you want. Just kind of keep reinstall, go back, reinstall, go back. It's kind of interesting. So I'm going to put Windows 8 on this because obviously I'm running Windows 8. But when the upgrade offer version of Windows 8 becomes available to me, I'm going to want to write about that and take screenshots and all that stuff. And so when that happens, I'll actually take this computer and put it back to Windows 7 using this the system image that I've made. And the way you do that is, again, with this, what they call in Windows 7 a system repair disk, and what they call in Windows 8 a they just call it a recovery drive. It can be USB or optical in Windows 8.
Awesome. That's, I think, a really good way to do it.
Yeah.
It's cheap. Yeah. It's easy to store, probably more reliable than a CD or a DVD.
Yeah, you may already have it. The point is, both Windows 7 and Windows 8 have facilities on the disk, but sometimes you can't boot the disk, which is why you might need the system recovery. The system repair disk or the recovery drive.
Right.
So you want to have that extra thing just in case. Just be prudent. Put it on the side.
I think that's nice that that's built in.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
So, software pick of the week is the Windows Server 2012 Essentials Release Candidate version. I put up a blog post about it, about some of the new features some of the changes they made. It's nothing dramatic, but they've improved one thing that was very annoying to me in the beta version, which is that Microsoft on their server products has this notion of a best practices analyzer. And what they've basically done is formalized all of their best practices that they've come up with all over the years and built it into the software. So they can look at your software configuration and say, well, you're supposed to be, this is the best way to do this. You're not doing it this way. So here's your heads up. You should do it this way. And that's okay. But in Windows Server Essentials, I've noticed that some of the, they'll say, you're not doing this thing with DNS. They're like, oh, that's nice. I don't want to do this thing with DNS. But then you can't make it stop. And so every day I come back and there's a warning.
Terrible.
So they fixed it. So you can, you can in fact disable the BPA analyzers. So as per our earlier discussion, Windows Server 2012 Essentials is on a different release cycle than the other the other versions of Windows Server. The final version will ship by the end of the year. And one of the things I get questions about this constantly, I'll be replacing my home server sometime in the months ahead with either this product or Windows 8. And a lot of people are curious about which one I would prefer. Windows Server 2012 forces a domain install. Not that you have to use it, by the way, but it does come with a domain. It's also a lot more expensive than Windows 8. So I think for most people, most normal people, it's going to be Windows 8 is the right choice. But I've always kind of liked the idea of having a server. I think of this thing as a server. It has multiple terabytes of storage and so forth. And I don't know. To me, that's a server. But I still haven't decided. Sorry. So people will ping me frequently and say, "So have you decided? Have you decided? What are you going to do?" I don't
want to decide. Is it true that the Windows to Go is only on Windows 8 Enterprise? It's not on Professional?
Yep, that's true.
Okay. So Enterprise is really now their essential. They're ultimate.
They're
essentials. Their ultimate edition.
Yeah. I expect to see, Windows to Go is one of those capabilities that's going to make its way down the food chain. I think the problem now is that they only support it on two. Well, I should say they only recommend it on 2 USB drives because these 2 drives meet some combination of, performance, reliance, resiliency, whatever it is. For some reason, it just works well in these 2 things. Obviously, that needs to change. It needs to be able to work from virtually anything. They both happen to be USB 3 devices, by the way, and the performance is actually notably faster if you run it on a USB 3 port. Obviously, you could do it on a USB 2 port, which I've done, and it boots a little more slowly, works a little more slowly. But off a USB 3 port, it's like using the computer. It's really fast. It boots in, I have to go look at my notes, but I want to say 10, 12 seconds tops, something like that. It's very quick.
I think another reason that it's an enterprise feature only is they're using this as a carrot to get more people to sign up for software assurance.
They love those subscriptions.
Just my take. Yeah, so they want you to, sign up for the annuity plan, and they're giving you little benefits. If you do this, well, hey, you can get Windows to Go. Just a guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Hey, Mary Jo Foley, how about an enterprise pick of the week? What do you say?
Okay. I did, as my enterprise pick of the week, acronym soup. And the acronym soup of the week is 3 new enterprise tools for people who are business users considering deploying Windows 8. Even though we talk a lot on the show about, hey, are business users going to deploy Windows 8? Some people are, and you might want these 3 new tools that Microsoft is making available for download. One of them is the Windows Assessment and Deployment Kit, also known as ADK, which replaces the Windows Automated Installation Kit, WAIK. There's also the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit 2012 Update 1, MDT, for all of you who love acronyms. And that's what lets you put all of the ADK tools into a single deployment process. And finally, last but not least, there's MAP, the Microsoft Assessment and Planning Toolkit version 7, now supporting Windows 8 Enterprise. So all of these things are available. If you go to the Springboard blog that Microsoft has, you can get links to them and you can download them and start looking at enterprise deployments of Windows 8 for those of you who like to live on the bleeding edge.
How very exciting.
Yes. Can I give a shout out to the Enterprise show here too?
Yes. This Week at Enterprise Tech, one of our fabulous new programs.
Yes. Next, on Monday, This Week at Enterprise Tech, we're going to do a CRM show, and I'm going to be on. So anyone who cares about Microsoft CRM, you might want to listen in on Monday.
I'm glad to hear it because people were thinking, oh, it's all about networking. No, we're going to cover every topic in Enterprise Tech.
CRM, a hotspot.
Yep. Father Robert Balliser and the TWiT team, including Mary Jo Foley, Mondays, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 1700 UTC on twit.tv if you want to watch live. And you can also download it, as with all our shows in audio and video. We tried to put it at a good time for people so they could watch at work. And that way the boss wouldn't get mad or something.
You should rename that show to Enterprise Essentials.
That's a good idea. TWiT Enterprise Essentials. I like it.
Somebody on Twitter recommended the name Windows Weekly Essentials.
Everything's essential now.
Yeah.
And our code name, I do like this code name, Pick of the Week, Mary Jo.
Yeah, so you know what's been cool? Since we've been doing the Codename Pick of the Week on the show, I'm getting more and more people sending in code names.
Good.
Not just future code names, but past code names too, with little stories about how they came about. And so this week is all the Bing waves. I don't know if people remember this. At one point, they were naming Bing waves, when they came out the new UI or a new release of Bing, after cities. There was an Oslo, there was a Dublin, there was a Boston, and there was a Denver. And nobody could figure out, why are they using all these city code names, a number of which they've already used for other products. So someone who shall not be named sent me a tip this week that said, you know why we use those names? We used names that were progressively closer to the Googleplex as we started getting closer to Google.
Oh, that's hysterical.
So, Oslo, we're way off. We're not the same as Google at all. Then Dublin, then Boston, then Denver. And I don't, this may be a rumor pick of the week too. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's
I love it.
What I hear.
And when when it gets to San Jose, we know they're almost there.
He said next one, Mountain View.
Mountain View, smack dab in the Googleplex. Yeah. Wow.
So that's kind of a cool story. If it's true or not, I don't know, but it's a pretty good story. If it's
true. Like it. I think that's great. Yeah. Mary Jo Foley, thank you for, I don't know what happened. We're glad we got you back. She writes about Microsoft at All About Microsoft. I'm not talking about last week. I'm talking about just a minute ago when Skype dropped.
No, you know what happened? Do you want to hear what happened?
Yeah.
This is a good story, too. They're repointing the bricks outside of my window right now. There's scaffolding outside with a guy drilling, and I have a feeling this had something to do with it.
I'm surprised you're able to get on at all.
I'm surprised you.
What's this wire here that you just drilled through? I don't know.
Wait, okay. How many floors up are you?
19.
I'm
19.
I'm on
16. Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
So you have, over the course of us recording this podcast for the past year or whatever, have seen more people outside of your window than I have out of mine. And I'm on the ground.
She's on the 16th floor. That's New York. That's New York. This
Spider-Man goes swinging by.
The Bronx is up, the battery's down, the people ride around in a hole in the ground, and then there's this Spider-Man up there. Wow.
That's funny.
That's hysterical. What is repointing the bricks?
You know how the cement starts to wear down in older buildings?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to put it back in so the buildings stay put.
Aha. It's like grout. They're regrouting.
Yeah.
I got it now. That's something only people who live in the the Atlantic Northeast understand. Brick pointing.
Pointing.
Yeah. We don't have winter out here. Mary Jo Foley's at allaboutmicrosoft.com. That's where you can read her several times a day. Paul Thurrott, the SuperSite for Windows, winsupersite.com, and they do this little Windows Weekly thing every Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1800 UTC on twit.tv. Do watch live. Love it if you do. And as you can see, I'm watching the chat room, and they talk back, which is great. One of these days we'll have enough time with these shows.
They think they're people.
They think they're people. The chat room. It's made of people. It's one of these days we'll get a chance to do a Q&A, but there's always so much news, Maybe we'll wait till after in September. That'll slow down a little bit.
We should do an all Q&A
I'd
show.
love to do that.
That would be good. Maybe next week. It should be quiet.
Wait, look, you need a quiet time because there's always news, and that's the problem. This has been such a great time for Microsoft watchers over the last few months. There's been so much to say. So anyway, watch live, be in the chat room, but if you can't, we make audio and video available, of course, on demand at twit.tv/WW for Windows Weekly, or wherever finer podcasts are aggregated. Thank you, my friends. We'll see you next time on Windows Weekly. Let me go change my shirt. This is way too white.
You should wear blue like us, so then we'd all match.
I know. Why would you wear any other color?
There is no other color.
I was going to say, are there other colors? Wait, they make shirts in other colors?
Windows flag shirts in celebration of today. Only the primary colors will be worn.
Right. So where were you last week?
I'll tell you when Leo comes back. It's a secret.
Okay. Did you tell me before? You must have. I mean, did you told me this before, didn't you?
Yeah, I told both you guys. But, everybody was traveling. It was hard to remember, wasn't it?
I swear, it was like old folks' home over here. We were like, where did she go? I know she said something. Yeah, it was unbelievable.